Hey warriors, I've been called to do a message for the collective in regards to spirit guides. A lot of people have these questions. Why are my spirit guides coming to me? I'm meditating all the time. They're not presenting themselves to me. A lot of the reason is we aren't really open enough to what they actually are. So when we think of spirit guides, a lot of people can accept ghosts because these are people that have lived on the earth plane before, and they are our loved ones in spirit sending us messages all the time, things like that. So that's one version of a spirit guide that can kind of come through, but there's so many different ones. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what different spirit guides that I've encountered, and there's so many. There's just millions. There's no way that I would be able to even comprehend them all, even at the stage that I am now. So I just wanted to do a little bit of talk on this. So a big question is, why don't they present themselves to us? A lot of the time our frequency is so low that they can't really, they're not just going to knock on your door. That's not the way these things work. But if we're in a really heightened state of peace, then they can kind of come in. So I've done like a little bit of a diagram here. So this is where we are down on earth, and these guys are up in the higher dimensions. They're in the higher fields, and for them to come down to earth, it's quite painful for them. If you can imagine how dark it is here, we can all feel it. It's a lot harder for them to lower their frequency than it is for us to heighten our frequency. Some spirit guides can do it, but it is a lot easier if we get into a meditative state, if we set our intentions to kind of connect in with these guys. I like to meditate and light candles and do a lot of gratitude for asking them to kind of come in this sense. So we can also get to this state when I remember the first time I connected in with Mother Earth, which is another spirit guide. She is also a planet. So I remember I was really distressed one day and I was not in a good headspace. This was before my spiritual awakening, didn't understand anything about this. And I was very distressed, and Mother Earth was the only thing that I could kind of fathom at this stage. I couldn't comprehend anything else. I didn't believe in angels or anything like that back then. So I remember asking and just pleading. I'm like, please help me. I can't get through this. Like, I am struggling, and my body just started vibrating. And I remember for the first time in weeks, I had severe depression back then. And I remember for the first time in weeks, I got up and I had a shower, and she did a healing on me because I had asked for help. And this is where I always go on about asking for help with these guys, because there is a lot of spirit guides and ascended masters and angels and things like that that are here to help us with this acceleration period on earth, as we raise our frequency as a collective to kind of go with it, because also Mother Earth is raising her frequency as well. So I just want to give you a bit of an idea of the different ones that I have encountered, and I'm sure there's heaps that I've forgotten here, but just to give you a bit of a range here. So obviously the planets are one of them, which is a bit shocking, but as Mother Earth's name is Gaia. Another one is that universal concept of all of the things intertwined. So they gave it to me once. It was like, well, if Mother Earth's name is Gaia, the universe's name is God. And I was like, oh, that's crazy, because I came from a pretty anti-religious, we don't really I couldn't really comprehend when people talked about the Bible and all that kind of stuff. But Jesus and Mary Magdalene is another one that I've been working with a lot lately. It opens up with the guides. I've worked with Shiva, like the Hindu god, and Ganesh, another Hindu god. So like, I feel like there's a snippet of reality in all of these different stories. I think the man has just tried to control the narrative, which is a bit much. So another very high dimensional spirits that I've worked with are the praying mantis people. And that was like, what? Like, what is happening? Another one I work with all the time is animal spirit guides. So these are spirit guides. They may represent a certain frequency or something that we're needing to heal. If you notice that there's a lot of animals that kind of come into your periphery, or like they're just hanging around and you're like, shouldn't you be running away from me? this is where it gets a bit complicated, and people just kind of go, I don't understand, and it's too big, and they expect their guides to kind of knock on their door and be like, hey, my name's Bob. No, not really. They also will give you like human names that you can understand, because I think a lot of the time they have really out there names that we're not really even going to be able to what's the word pronounce. So it really is they'll give it to you on your level kind of thing. Another one is, I know some people, crystals is another spirit guide, so like when you're tapping in, so like if you can kind of open your viewpoint to be a lot bigger than just like ghosts knocking on a door. This is where I think a lot of people, like, they're not open enough, and this is why spirit might present in a way that is acceptable to you, because you're not ready to kind of see that. So sometimes if you can feel that you've got something kind of getting in touch with you, if it's of the light, they won't try to scare you if it's a true spirit guide or a true guide of the light. So they will never try to scare you, and sometimes they are a bit scary to us. So like another one is the aliens. A lot of us think of it in a really different way. They are darker forces out there, but they're also really light forces. Pleiadians, the Syrians, the Andromedans. There's so many species out there that we're not going to get into, but these also present on the higher realms as well. Sometimes they'll come through as higher versions of ourselves, but that's a little bit complicated. We won't get into that right now. So the angels, the archangels. Archangel Michael is one of my favorites. He's someone I've worked with for quite a while now. There's so many different deities and ascended masters, so many different gods, so many different things of like the mythological that people kind of just dismiss. Fairies, the pixies, all these kind of things. This is where I think, because the mainstream narrative has kind of shut down all of this energy, it's very hard for us to kind of even comprehend it. So it's really just kind of getting back to that imaginative, like childlike mind from when we were younger, and being able to accept that we have no idea what are different beings and stuff out there. I really want to remind you to always use discernment. If it feels dark, don't let it in, because it's pretty common sense, but your guides won't try to scare you. So I just want to put that out there. Even I know with ghosts, that's too much for people, and that's like, ugh. But this is for the people that are encountering bigger things than just their loved ones that have passed away. The veil is really thinning at the moment, so we're getting a lot more different beings and different things kind of coming in. So it's really exciting, and these guys are amazing to work with. Some of them are amazing healers. Some of my guides are just there to help me have a chat, and then there's other guides that I help call on to do with my business and things like that. I've been really getting in touch with different dragon spirit guides at the moment. So one that's even come through today is named Tindu, and he's a golden dragon, and it's like, this is they're amazing. They're all here to help us in a lot of ways, and I just want you to kind of open your mind a little bit more to the different things. And as I said, there's lots of different loved ones. There's different cultures. I've tapped in with the different like the Aboriginal elders and the Native Americans and different things like that might be on a different timeline, but they're also here to help with the ascension and things like that. So another one that I've written down is just like the different elements. So like wind itself and the air itself, and same thing. But water and fire and these different things, they can also be a guide for us. And this is where it's really weird, and it's really just about opening our lenses to like a much bigger spectrum here. So it is harder for them to kind of come down. There is some that are on the earth plane as it is. I wanted just to talk a little bit about how to know if they're trying to get in touch with you. So I remember when Goddess Isis first started trying to get in touch with me, I wasn't on that wavelength whatsoever. I had started kind of having conversations with trees and stuff at this stage, which I know is weird in itself, but it just was kind of happening, so I would just kind of let it happen. But when she started getting in touch, I would get like spiders that would like open up their arms, and they were like in these wings, and then I'd go into like op shops, and then I'd see statues of her all the time, and then I'd go onto YouTube and there'd like be videos of her, and I'm like, I didn't even know who this person was in my 3D form kind of thing. So then it just kind of started coming, and then I was like, okay, I feel like she's trying to get in touch with me. So it's kind of like they will put like little breadcrumbs, and it's for us to kind of track if we want to track into that. Of course, we can always call upon them. We don't want to tug too much on their energy. The Ascended Masters and things like that, they're here to help us, so don't feel like you can't ask for help, especially the Archangels and things like that. But with certain loved ones that are on the other side, maybe they got shit to do. So I got really bad where I was just pulling on their energy all the time. They're like, Jordan, stop asking for us to send shooting stars. We're not just here to at your will. And I'm like, oh, sorry, like... But it is magic, and if you can embrace the magic, it's really amazing. So I just wanted to do this little bit of video. Another way that they contact us, I've just written down about, a majority of them are telepathic, but not all of them. So some will speak through images that they will insert in your mind's eye, or like videos or something like that. Sometimes the animals will come up, like with my past loved ones, they will they have like different birds and animals. Like, so my sister presents as a pelican, and my pop presents as a butterfly, and that's him just saying, hey, like, we're getting in touch. You could audibly hear it on the outside or in the inside of your head kind of thing. They would do through feelings. If you just get this overwhelming feeling, sometimes they'll say, oh, is this my feeling? Is this someone else's feeling? When some people have just passed over, they don't have all of that knowledge of how to communicate just as yet, so they might send feathers, or they might send little bits and pieces like this. Another thing with spirit too, they always speak in metaphor, and it really annoys me, but I love it at the same time. So like they will give you like an image that you can comprehend, and then you've got to kind of decipher it in a bit of a way. So sometimes it is just putting the little puzzle pieces together, and other times it's really direct. Flashes of light is another way that they will kind of do confirmations and things like that with you. So if you have any other questions, I didn't mention one which was really out there. So I met this one guide, his name was Ish, and again, that's probably just what I can comprehend, but he was just a ball of gas. He had no body form, he had no legs, nothing like this. I've met some really distorted looking weird alien things. I've met ones that are just kind of connected in with the earth, and they don't really have bodies, but they have faces and stuff like this. This is where it just gets really strange, weird and wonderful. But if you can kind of open yourself up to not kind of having an expectation of what this is going to look and feel like, and just kind of opening that communication door. So our pineal gland and our senses are muscles that we build. So the more that we do it, the easier it becomes. I also want to just say something about when we're tapping into the higher dimensions and the higher frequencies, it can become very uncomfortable on our body. So it does take a little bit of practice, because the more we kind of open up, it's like our bodies aren't really made for this, but we are also, our DNA is kind of evolving to be able to open up to this kind of stuff. So I want you just to take it easy. I remember the first time I astral traveled, I lasted like 5 minutes, and I was very naive back then, and I just opened up to I'm like, anybody of the spirit realm, just come at me. And I remember a big dirty hand on my leg, and I was like, oh, not everyone, only of the love and light. Remember that. Don't just invite in anybody, because as I said, there is darker stuff out there. We don't fuck with that, and it's not to be scared of. We always have protection. I always use a bit of Palo Santo to kind of clear my space, or I ask Archangel Michael and Archangel Metatron to kind of grid the space before I go in. So there's lots of ways that we can protect. Crystals are another way to nurture the body as we kind of do this kind of stuff. But just to start, I'd probably start with like just tapping in with some archangels. So maybe do a little bit of research. Archangel Michael's amazing to cut cords and just to kind of work with. They all kind of do different things. So everyone has their like specialty technique that they're helping the humans of the earth with. The Arcturians are amazing at body healing and stuff like that. Goddess Isis is amazing with mother healing. I use her partner Osiris to help me with masculine healing and all of this kind of stuff. So we also, this is a big part of it, we don't also have to understand everything. Our brains try to comprehend everything and we try to have every single answer. And it's like, sometimes if you just ask for a healing and you know it's from the love and light, do you need to know? This is why I just, when I talk about all of these different guides, I just use the reference as spirit. It is nice to, as when they come in, ask who you're working with. I had a really lovely one come in the other day. His name was Jakali. He came in, again, that could just be what he presents himself as in his human name. But he was just, I was really distressed and I was freaking out. I crashed my car, so of course I'm freaking out about it. And he just came in and he's like, it's not, because I keep putting all this pressure on what I have to do and my mission and I've got to do all these kind of things. And he's like, it's all about your frequency. It doesn't matter if you're being a cleaner or if you're working at Coles or whatever you want to do, as long as your light and your frequency is good. And the way to do that is to follow your passion and to be true to yourself and to be as happy as possible. And I'm like, oh, that seems way easier than me having to go and do all these things that I thought I had to do. So I'll just have a little look. I think I've covered everything I wanted to talk to about. Yeah, so another way, just little things to get in touch with them. So just set that intention. I light a candle, I get into like a calm space, I put a bit of frequency music on. The Hertz music is really lovely. Sometimes I do offerings for them just to be like, hey, thank you for coming into my space. And a lot of it is having faith. A lot of it is having faith and letting it kind of just come through. A lot of guided meditations online if you want to start working with certain deities and certain things. But I just want you to have an understanding that yes, it's really, really weird and it's really, really strange, but it's fucking magic and it's so cool. And there is so many galaxies and universes out there, and there's all different beings on all of them. People that think humans are it are very naive, and I know for a fact there is millions of different creatures out there that want to work with us. We all have our own spirit team that want to help with us. So also another version of spirit is our higher self. So this is the version of ourselves that is connected to all our different lifetimes and all our past lives and future lives that are all running at the same time. And it's kind of like your oversoul, and this soul knows all about you and everything that you've come here. So that is one of the most important ones that you want to get in touch with. So I highly recommend to get in touch with them as well. The different beings are just endless, and I feel like a lot of religious texts do tap into a lot of the different ones, but they also put this barrier between us and them. And this is our, we as earthly children are able to get in touch with all different ones. So I want you just to play around with it, maybe see who wants to get in touch with you. There's so many. I just remember even too when I first got, because I was never a religious person. I never believed in all of that. And I remember the first time Jesus kind of came through, and I was like, oh, you're just another light worker that was trying to get the word out. You're just like me, and I've given you so much shit over the years. That we had like a big reconciliation. And sometimes, sometimes we need to, there is things in our past lives and things like that that we need to reconcile with these ideas. So if you're very against, if something in what I've said today has really triggered you, look into that, track that, and be like, why am I, because we've also had, especially light workers that are probably the ones I'm going to track on this page, we've also came back numerous times to kind of get this word out, and the witches were burned at the stake. There's certain people that wanted to shut this energy down. In some past lives I've had oh, what is the word, where I took an oath to kind of not talk to about this kind of stuff because it was sacred knowledge that it was only meant for us. But in this lifetime, I'm here to share it. So it's really just sometimes when we have a bit of a blockage, especially when sharing this information with other people, look into that because it could be a past life thing as well. So if you ever need any sort of help or if you have any questions, hit me up and I'm here for you. I love y'all.